right there that's adjacent to the church. I was in a lot of pain. It was pain of being raped. It was pain of getting pregnant at 9. It was pain of giving birth to my daughter at 10. And then it was pain again, being forced to marry my rapist at 11. And I got married in that church.
In so many ways, your story is the most extraordinary that we've heard around this, because you were so little when the sexual abuse started for you at the hands of a man who would become your husband. So little you didn't even know what to call it. Tell me about where you were living at the time and how the deacon of the church was able to get into your home.
I lived in the back of the church, which they call the church parsonage. The deacon actually had a key to the church to be able to come in and get the church prepared for service. My mother and my stepdad were ministers at the church. All you had to do is walk down the steps from the church. You walk into our kitchen. And that's where he raped me. I woke up with him on top of me many a times.
How old were you when the deacon first sexually assaulted you?
I was actually 9 when he started.
You were 9 years old?
Yes, I was 9 years old.
Did you know what he was doing to you?
No, I didn't know what none of it was. I didn't understand what really took place. I did tell my mother. I had no idea what words to really use. The only thing that came to mind is I remember I said, "Mom, the deacon messed with me." She said, "No, he did not. He don't do that kind of stuff." I said, "Mom, he did." And she told me that's not true. My mom, for some reason, she seemed to blame me for what happened. She told other people that I was fast. She would get up in that church and tell all the members, "Don't believe my daughter." I was a sacrifice to cover up what he did. I thought about running away, but I didn't know where to go. Had no idea where could I go. I thought about maybe if I die, but I didn't know nothing about suicide. How can I do it? I don't know what to do. So I continued to let the deacon continue to rape me, which he does over and over and over again. It's not a situation that you want to remember, to talk about what actually took place in my life as a little 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl living in that house right there.
How common is this in the United States? How frequently are we marrying off little girls to men?
We knew at the time that child marriage was legal in all 50 states, and we asked every single state for their marriage license data. And just between 2000 and 2010, an estimated 248,000 children were married.
My mom parked right there when the office called her. And I'm thinking, why is this happening to me? Why is nobody helping me? She parked right there to come get me in a white Dodge with blue interior. I'll never forget it. And she came and picked me up. I remember they called my name over the intercom. Come to the PE room. There's a doctor and a nurse in there, and they examined me.
What did you think was happening?
I had no idea. I still didn't know.
You were a little girl who loved school.
Right.
You skipped to school. You loved it so much.
Yes.
So you took all your things to the office. When you got to the office, who was there?
My mother was in the office when I got there.
And what happened?
And my mother told me that she has to take me to the doctor because I'm sick. And I asked her, I said, sick how? I don't feel sick. So when we got in the car, she said, you're going to have a baby. I said, a baby? And I couldn't wrap my mind around, how do I have a baby? I didn't know.
You were 9 years old.
Yes. My mother took me right to the doctor's office, and the doctor came out after he examined me and told my mother, yes, she is 7 months pregnant. Child and Family Services came to my house, and they asked me about who I think the father was, and I told them. They spoke with my mother, but then after that, they left. Nothing was done. My mother said, I'm making her look bad. She's going to have to get rid of me. My mother sends me away with the bishop of the church. He was headed to Miami, from what I understand. But he decided to pull the side of the road and rape me in the back of the car. 7 months pregnant.
The bishop was the head of more than 30 churches, including the church where the deacon worked.
In the bishop house was his wife and his secretary. When my water broke, the secretary dropped me off at the hospital. Now I remember laying in that hallway, in that bed, and people would just come by and look. Many wouldn't say nothing, they would just look at me. And I'm like, what is going on? I still didn't know what I'm supposed to do, or how this baby's going to come forth. I didn't have a clue. When I gave birth to my daughter, I was 10 years old. They brought the little girl to me, and I said, oh, she's so pretty. She had a head full of hair, black hair, but I'm still in a trauma state. I had all kind of questions, but I had no one that I felt I could ask.
Nobody asked you how you got pregnant?
No.
Nobody asked you, where's your mother? Nobody asked you, where's the father of the baby?
No.
Nobody called the police to report a 10-year-old girl's about to give birth?
Never. No. I laid in a hospital until I gave birth.
By yourself?
By myself. My mother never came. The bishop asked me about who was messing with me. And I told him who it was, the deacon of the church. And then the bishop took me back home to Tampa and told my mother, the deacon, and myself need to get married. Which I was only 11. And he was 20.
A judge in Sherry's home county refused to issue the marriage license, so her mother took her to the neighboring county.
My mother said, well, we're going to go to Clearwater, Pinellas County, and they're going to do the marriage. She takes the deacon and myself, and we all go to the courthouse, and the judge say, all we need was you to sign the letter declaring paternity.
And nobody in Pinellas County did what the first judge did, which was say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
No.
This is not happening.
No. They followed through. The state of Florida failed me. The school knew. The hospital knew. The doctors knew. The courts knew. Nobody protected me. Not one person. Not one.
Wow.
It was done. We had the marriage ceremony after they had church, and I remember pretty much everybody left. Maybe about 5 people was left in the church for the wedding. My mother made a cake. My mother made my wedding dress. My mother made a veil. Why? Why would she go to that extreme to marry her 11-year-old daughter off to a 20-year-old.